My name is Caleb Webster Alt. This is for FTT-104 52300, Week 2, Assignment 1. So to begin, I want to start by verifying that my workspace/firearm is clear of any live ammunition. So let's show that. This is my workspace. There's nothing up here but tools, desk supplies, and some dummy rounds. But other than that, there's no ammo. So now onto the firearm. Today we'll be discussing a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus Performance Center chambered in 9mm. Today we're going to go over how to field strip this firearm as well as reassembly. So this is the firearm in the state before disassembly. So next let's go over how to clear this firearm. So let's start by placing the firearm on safe. This firearm hosts a thumb safety, and as you see, it is already in the upward position. So it is on safe. Next, we're going to start by removing the feed source/magazine. As you can see the orange follower, so that's a clear indication that this magazine is empty, but also a physical indication that it's empty. You can press down on that follower. So set this aside for now. And now you're going to want to lock the slide to the rear. So there's a slide lock tab, and all you're going to do is you're just going to manipulate the slide in a rearward position while you push up on this with your thumb, and that's going to lock the slide in the rear position. So while you do that, that's going to allow you to manipulate the slide lock release lever without having to hold the slide in the rear position. I know some people do that, they'll fight the tension of the spring just to get the slide off, but it's much easier if you just don't do that. So before we do that, we can also verify that, one, the bore is clear of any live ammunition, and I can show that to the camera, as well as the magazine well is clearly clear. So we can go on to the next step. So now we can manipulate this slide release lever in the downward position. So I'm going to swap hands to do that. And you just swivel it down. It's going to go down and rotate out. So then you can release tension, push that slide lock down, and it will ride forward. So now we're going to have to, now that we know the bore is clear, because we've shown that to the camera, we can take the safety off so that we can pull the trigger and the slide will come off of the frame. And as you'll see, this slide, as I pull this trigger, will slowly bounce forward. So as you just saw, slide slowly bounced forward, and now it's just going to slide right off this lower assembly/frame here. There's nothing else for a fuse strip that you can take off of this without additional tools. So we can just put this aside. This is your slide. You have two other parts that are on this slide that can be removed, and that is your recoil spring. So I like to use my thumb, and I just depress it, and then you can take your other fingers to very gently pry it upwards so that doesn't go springing across the room. So you just take this, set this down, and you're going to take your barrel, and I just grab this little tab and I push it forward, and then you just kind of allow gravity to let it fall out. So that's your barrel. So that's it. It's just your slide, your barrel, your recoil spring, and then your frame. And to reassemble that, it's just everything we just did but backwards. So quickly put that in there, let it fall backwards, put this, line it up with the hole. See that? Take your thumb, re-depress the spring, push it down into position. And as you can see, you want it to be centered with that barrel. So mine's a little cockeyed, so I'll just make it a little centered more. It has to be straight. I don't know if the camera's getting that well, but then you're also going to take a look at the back end of the slide. Back end of the slide has these notches where the slide rails are going to meet with the frame. You're just going to line those up, take the slide rails right into that notch, and then it's going to go right back. So now you're going to manipulate the slide in the rearward position while placing the slide lock upwards to lock the slide. So we have locked the slide. So now we can manipulate and relock this slide release lever. So you're just going to push that back into position, and that's now going to lock your slide down, or slide into place, so that when you release this slide lock lever, or slide lock, it'll stay in the frame. So now the firearm is reassembled. You can pull the trigger, and it is on there. Place the gun back on safe, and that is it. So, we verified that my workspace is clear of any live ammunition. We verified that the firearm is clear of any live ammunition, and we went over how to field strip and how to reassemble it. That is all the requirements to the video, so I will be ending it here. So thank you very much, and have a nice day.